Hello and welcome back to the channel. It has been a few months since I've done a TBR video, but that's what I am here to do today. I am doing a May TBR, and it is a first for me because I am reading stories only from one author. That author is the incomparable Richard Matheson. Now, if you are not familiar with Richard Matheson, he was an American author focused primarily in the fantasy, science fiction, and horror genres. So, I know you have heard at least of one of his stories, if not a few. According to Wikipedia, he has 29 novels, 121 short stories, and 22 short story collections, which I am sure a lot of those feature the same short stories, just mixing and matching. So I am only going to be doing his most popular novels and reading all the short stories I already had. When I started my channel, I was reading mainly 2020 releases. I finished that up in February. And then I started reading 2021 releases, and I finished those up in April, except for one, which I'm saving for next month, which is Pride Month. So this was the perfect opportunity to hit the back catalog and dive into a few books I already owned and have owned for several years and have not read. I have read one of them, but I'll tell you what that is when I get to it. So, why did I start with Richard Matheson? Well, I had 4 of his stories, like 4 collections, I guess, because 2 of them were novels and 2 were apparently short story collections. And so I thought, well, I'm going to do Richard Matheson in May and make it like Matheson May. Okay. So that was my logic for it. I did go ahead and get 2 other of his books, actually 3, but I'll tell you about that one in a minute. So, what am I going to be reading? I'm going to be reading a total of 6 novels. Several of them are rather short. So maybe they're actually like novellas, I don't know. But I'm also going to attempt to read 30 of his short stories. So considering this is May 10th and I'm not even halfway through the first novel, I'm going to be pushing it, but we will see how it goes. So let's get into the books I'm going to be reading. So the first story I'm going to be reading by Richard Matheson is his most famous, and that is I Am Legend. I hate the cover of this one. It obviously came out after the Will Smith movie. But yes, I've already started reading this one, really enjoying it. So I didn't realize until I started reading this that there are several short stories in this also. So I have my bookmarks here. This first one is Where I'm At Currently, and the white one here is Where I Am Legend Ends. So all these back here are short stories. And I didn't realize it until I started reading it. I was like, oh, okay. So I am almost halfway through this already. Today's May 10th. I meant to film this a week ago and whatever, I didn't want to finish this and then do my TBR video, so I'm doing it today, which is Tuesday, May 10th, and I guess I'll probably drop it this coming Saturday. So by the time you are watching this, I should have already finished I Am Legend and moving on to the next one. So this came out in 1954. It has been adapted 3 times, the most famous one being the 2008, I think it was, movie featuring Will Smith. I've heard the ending is very, very different. So far, it's kind of similar. I mean, it is about the last man on Earth facing vampires. So, I mean, he's the last man on Earth as far as he knows. But so far, it hasn't really mentioned what he does for a living. He worked at a plant, and there has been a virus that has basically wiped out humanity. I don't know if this virus has caused the vampire uprising or if the vampires caused it. I really don't know, but I am enjoying it. It's given me a few laughs, and yeah, I can't wait to see how it ends. So the next book I'm going to be reading is the next one that was published. I'm going in order of publication dates with these novels. Short stories, I'm not going to do that. That'd be too much time. But the next one is going to be The Incredible Shrinking Man, which was originally published in 1956 and simply titled The Shrinking Man. But when they did a film adaptation of this, they put in the incredible word, and later reprintings kept that title. So yes, The Incredible Shrinking Man. This is a story about a guy who gets shrunken. I don't know. Let's see what the back of it says. It says, inch by inch, day by day, Scott Carey is getting smaller. Once an ordinary husband and father, Scott finds himself shrinking away with no end in sight. His wife and friends turn into unreachable giants. The family cat becomes a gigantic menace, and Scott must struggle to survive in a world that seems to be growing ever larger and more dangerous until he faces the ultimate limits of fear and existence. So, this will be unlike anything I've ever read before. I can't wait to read it. I did know that there were short stories in this one, so I've marked it here. The first part being the actual story of The Incredible Shrinking Man. The rest of it, short stories. So, and I do have one more short story collection. But the good thing is there is only one repeat short story within these three. So that saves me just a little bit of time. So the third book I'm going to be reading by Richard Matheson is called A Stir of Echoes. It was released in 1958. They did a film adaptation of this in 1999 featuring Kevin Bacon. I'm sure you have already seen that. I love that movie. I have read this one once before. It was at least 5 years ago. All I remember is it is completely different from the movie. So let's read the back of this one. Tom Wallace lived an ordinary life until a chance event awakened psychic abilities he never knew he possessed. Now he's hearing the private thoughts of the people around him and learning shocking secrets he never wanted to know. But as Tom's existence becomes a waking nightmare, greater jolts are in store when he becomes the unwilling recipient of a compelling message from beyond the grave. Ooh. I remember kind of enjoying this one. So this will be one of the only books I've ever reread. The only book I have ever reread before this was Carrie by Stephen King. I'm not a big rereader, obviously, because there are so many books out there, and I know I'm never going to get to all the ones I want to get to, but occasionally rereads are necessary, right? Especially when you recently started a YouTube channel. So I can't wait to reread this one. So the fourth novel I'm going to be reading is the 1971 classic Hell House. Yes, I don't know anything about this one, so we are going to discover it together. So this is what it says. For over 20 years, Belasco House has stood empty. Regarded as the Mount Everest of haunted houses, it is a venerable mansion whose shadowed walls have witnessed scenes of almost unimaginable horror and depravity. 2 previous expeditions to investigate its secrets met with disaster, the participants destroyed by murder, suicide, or insanity. Now a new investigation has been mounted, bringing 4 strangers to the forbidding mansion, determined to probe Belasco House for the ultimate secrets of life and death. Each has his or her own reason for daring the unknown torments and temptations of the mansion, but can any soul survive what lurks within the most haunted house on earth? So they did make a film adaptation of this in the early 70s, I think it was, called The Legend of Hell House. I've never seen that. But yeah, haunted house. Can't wait to check it out. So in all honesty, I think I am the most excited about reading this next one. It is from 1978, which was the year I was born, and that is going to be What Dreams May Come. Now, I know you have probably at least heard of the movie in the 90s featuring Robin Williams. It is about a man who dies and goes to heaven, but then makes a journey into hell to save his wife. And that's all I really need to know. That's all you need to know too. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be very heartfelt and a good change of pace. So, yes. So the sixth and final actual novel I'm going to be reading, I hadn't even planned on reading it. I'd never even heard of it until the other day. But let me start off with this other one. So I know you've probably heard of The Box, the 2009 movie featuring Cameron Diaz. I picked this up a long time ago. I've never read it. And I thought this was like the novel the movie was based on. No. I just discovered a few moments ago before starting this video that The Box is based on the short story Button Button, which it says right here. I don't know. So I got to look and I was like, Button Button is only 16 pages. This is a short story. This is a short story collection, all of this. So, yeah, I was surprised. So I was like, okay. Well, I guess it's a good thing I got this other novel then. I wondered because I looked up Richard Matheson novels before, and I could never find the novel The Box from 2008, I think it was. But it makes sense now that it was never a novel. So, and it's not even a novelization of the movie. It is short story collection. So that is The Box. Another short story. I did go to McKay's the other day, which is my favorite place to go, and I really need to stop going. At least for a few months. Okay, so this last novel is an actual full-length novel. It came out in 1993, so we're totally skipping the 80s. It is called 7 Steps to Midnight. I saw this the other day, like I said. It was only $3.75, so I picked it up, and I'm going to try to read it. When a mysterious imposter steals his identity and his life, mathematician Chris Barton is suddenly thrust into a whirlwind of danger and intrigue. Overnight, without warning or explanation, not even his own sister recognizes him, but people he has never met are trying to kill him. On the run from California to London to Paris and beyond, vicious assassins pursue Chris while cryptic messages lead him on a wild, danger-filled chase around the world. So that is 7 Steps to Midnight, a novel I have never heard of, and I'm going to read it. We'll see how it goes. So we got a thriller, we got a mess of things, we got, I guess this would be fantasy, and horror, haunted house. This is kind of a horror thriller mix, and this is definitely fantasy. And then we got horror, legend. So once I finish all 3 of the actual novels, I will then go back and read the short stories. And I don't know if I'm going to rank all of them. That would be maybe a little time consuming, but we'll see. I'm definitely going to rank the actual novels at the end of the month. My May wrap up, I guess, will include the official Richard Matheson rankings. So be sure you come back and tune in for that and find out which one of these I like the best. I will definitely at least do a top 10 short story ranking, as long as I get through all of them. I'm really going to try. I mean, a lot of these are really short, so hopefully within the next 21 days I can finish all this. I've really slacked this month. Like, I did finish my last April book on the first day of May. I recorded my April wrap-up on the 3rd. And since then, I mean, I spent a few days editing that video. Editing takes quite a long time. Sometimes a lot longer than it should. especially when you're just doing this on your iPhone and you run out of space and you gotta delete things. Make room for the edited video to save on your phone. I mean, it's a lot sometimes, but I still enjoy doing this, and that's all that matters, right? Can't wait to see how this month is going to go. I'm really looking forward to diving into all of these. Can't wait to finish I Am Legend. That is definitely his most popular one. Have you read any Richard Matheson stories? Have you read I Am Legend or Hell House? What Dreams May Come? I'm so looking forward to that one. Let me know down in the comments. Also, let me know what is your favorite Richard Matheson film adaptation. In case you didn't know, one of his short stories is called Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, which was featured in a Twilight Zone episode, as well as I think it was 1983, somewhere around there, the Twilight Zone movie. So that story, I have already read that in another collection, and I read it a few years ago. It was pretty good. I don't remember how it ended, so it's basically kind of like starting over fresh. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next week in the next one. Bye.